Hi, I'm Dr. Johnna B, occupational therapist, educator, and researcher, and this is OT Translated, translating occupational therapy for everyday education. Today, we're going to talk about a skill that's essential but often overlooked, metacognition, or one's ability to think about their own thinking. Metacognition is the foundation for executive function, emotional regulation, and identity development, and it's deeply connected to occupational performance. When teens can pause and notice how they think, they're better able to adjust their actions in real time. But here's the challenge. Most teens don't naturally reflect on their thinking unless we help them to build this skill. And if they've experienced trauma or have learning differences or face systemic barriers of any kind, metacognitive development may be delayed or disrupted. As occupational therapy practitioners, we have a unique opportunity to scaffold metacognition in ways that are safe, meaningful, and directly tied to real-life occupations. The first strategy is what I call name the barrier. And this involves guiding teens to recognize those hidden thoughts and emotions that are getting in the way of participation. Here's an example. A teen might say, "I just didn't do my homework." Instead of jumping to solutions, we can instead ask, what was going on in your mind when you avoided it? What were you expecting to happen? What felt hard about starting? By asking these questions, you're helping teens to shift from avoidance to awareness. As occupational therapy practitioners, we're linking internal barriers to external occupations and helping teens to reframe their inner narrative in functional, actionable ways. The next strategy that I use is called metacognitive journaling. And no, I don't just mean Dear Diary. Metacognitive journaling is structured reflection on thinking patterns, energy, focus, and actions. And you might use journaling templates that ask questions like, what was the task? What helped you focus? What distracted you? What will you do differently next time? In my own occupational therapy practice, sometimes I like to pair these journaling strategies with a mood tracker, an executive functioning log, or some type of self-monitoring checklist for teens. It's brief, it's just 3 to 5 minutes, and we link it directly to the occupations that teens care about, like preparing for a job interview or managing schoolwork. Here's some ideas to help you embed it into teens' daily lives. Maybe it becomes a weekly practice that you do right before your occupational therapy check-in. Or maybe you use a technique such as habit stacking, so we can use metacognitive journaling right after a meaningful task that they're already doing on the daily, like brushing their teeth right before bed. As occupational therapy practitioners, we can help to make the invisible visible and give teens insight into their own daily doing. A third strategy is building future self-awareness. Teens are often stuck in now thinking and have a hard time linking current actions with long-term goals. As occupational therapy practitioners, we can use a variety of different activities in order to help prompt this future thinking. One example is writing a letter to my future self in which we map out everything that we'd like to achieve and then backwards plan the steps that it would take to actually achieve those goals. Another example is role-playing, you in 6 months, allowing teens to visualize and verbalize what they'd like to see for themselves in the future. Visual goal mapping is another great tool, and we can pair that with reflective prompts that ask questions like, what would your future self thank you for today? Or what habits are helping you to become the person that you want to be? We can pair each of these tools with functional tasks like preparing for a driver's permit or applying for jobs or managing mental health plans. Because identity, planning, and intentionality are core to self-determined occupations, these are great practical ways to structure how teens are thinking about the future. While the hopes and dreams that our teens share may feel theoretical at first, when we're able to pair those with structured actions, we can help to produce real-life growth and accomplishment for our teens. When we embed metacognitive tools into occupational therapy sessions, we're not just building insight, we're creating sustainable change. Teens begin to recognize their own barriers, advocate for their own needs, and take functional actions in their everyday lives. And that's the ultimate goal of occupational therapy. It's not just participation, but it's empowered, informed, and self-directed engagement. So whether you're an occupational therapy student or practitioner, an educator or a caregiver, start where your teens are today. Use their language and their insight and connect with their goals. Because when teens know how they think, they know how they can move forward. Thanks for joining me today. If you use any of these metacognitive strategies, I'd love to hear how it goes in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this information with a colleague who also supports adolescent mental health. See you next time on OT Translated.